made a couple of mistakes and whatnot. Managed to sort of pull around 3%. Markets have cycles, things change. It then came back. So just past funding pips, and then that is one of the worst feelings. And then I've entered on 1.5% now. You're doing yourself a disservice. How are you doing? It's Monday morning. Just watching the charts, waiting to see if EU's gonna let me in. Just connected my C-Trader account from Alpha to my MT5 Master. Traders Connect messaged yesterday to say that they've now got beta testing out for C-Trader. Obviously, be mindful it's beta, but they're pretty confident that everything seems good to go. By the way, if you think I look like I've been punched by Ngannou, I'm not sure if it's that bad this morning, but I woke up on Saturday with this massive sty on my eye. It's itching like mad, it hurts, it gave me a headache, I felt pretty rough. But we moved, went to the gym this morning, smashed it out regardless. So yeah, if you do, I don't think it looks that bad from what I can see, but this screen's a lot smaller. But yeah, so just finished setting that up now on the copier, which is nice because as I said last week, obviously I was a little bit concerned about trading so many accounts, how I was going to manage them all. Obviously, not yet got match trade. I think they're working on DX trade. But again, like I said in last week's video, I'm mainly focused now on Alpha FTMO. I don't really think I'm just going to go and buy a load of accounts from elsewhere, purely because, again, although it's nice having like 2, 3, 4 million funding, it's quite a lot of effort getting there, and it's also quite unnecessary. You can make a hell of a lot of money from 500k. I mean, you can make a lot of money from 200k. It depends how you trade. But obviously, having that bigger capital allows you to maybe risk less, or it allows you 1 to 2 to become 40, 50k. So I do get it. I'm also about to jump on a call in about an hour and a half with my accountants, because I still am a sole trader and so many people have said to me I need to go limited company. So I'm going to chat to them and see what the perks are, what the benefits are, and if it will actually help my current situation. Because obviously I'm getting spanked in tax and it's not fun. Like, I don't mind contributing and that, like paying my way, but it gets a little bit silly. So I know a lot of you asked me about that. I made a video a long time ago about the differences, but I'm going to have a chat with these guys and just see if there's any more benefit. So I'll let you know if there is a benefit and what obviously suits my circumstance. As I would always say though, always go and get proper advice from an accountant. Don't just take anyone's advice online without actually doing your own due diligence, because at the end of the day, it's your money, it's your life. You don't want to just go and like, oh, that guy said do this, and now I'm in jail getting sent by Tyrone. Super glad that Traders Connect have got C-Trader incorporated. Like I said, I knew they would. They told me they were on it, and they have been working flat out to get it sorted. So shout out to them. There's a link in the description for Traders Connect. If you're not signed up or not using them, I'm not sure why, because from my own personal opinion and many others, they are the best copier on the market. And the fact that they're acting so fast to get things done and brought to us is obviously just a testimony to what they're trying to do in the space. Morning everyone, how are you doing? It's Tuesday. I've just got back from school run and it's cold this morning. But yeah, I'm just watching EU. Luckily it didn't set up while I was on school run, but it is looking very possibly like it's going to set up in a moment. So we'll see what happens. Looking for shorts to come out of this. Obviously we've had that massive wick rejection. We've kind of filled 50% of this wick. Now looking to see if we can sort of take this to the downside. Obviously we've come out of this, the other day. We've reacted off it. We've kind of had a small sort of shift. Ran that liquidity into this. Obviously we're now met with the bearish order flow. So it's kind of a battle of who's going to win. So on the 15-minute yesterday, obviously you had all this. Looked beautiful for a short to be taken out. We didn't get the entry I wanted yesterday. I was looking for shorts when this ran. It ran a little bit too early in my session and then it remitigated and went off. Would have been like a 2.75R. So all good there. But yeah, looking to see if I can get in on this on the 5-minute, not the 1 minute, the 5-minute. So we'll see what happens there in a moment. I'll be looking at getting in probably around here, sort of 7.5 pip stop, and then first target's going to be these lows. And then we'll just trade it and manage it accordingly. But I just need to see if we're going to come back. Basically, had this shift here. I'm getting anywhere within here. I'd like to get in at the 50%, but I'll put this here to know that I can get in this with 7.5 pips if I want to. So obviously, after having the meeting with the accountant yesterday, I just thought I'd share with you my findings. So it does seem like a limit company is definitely the best way to go. Obviously, I've made videos in the past around tax. Again, I always say, go and seek professional advice. But what I realised is, you can basically, in the UK you can sort of pay yourself a 12k, basically a grand a month, as a salary from a limited company, and that will basically be tax-free. And then you can sort of top it up with dividends up to sort of 50k, so you can probably make around 4k a month, and you'll pay around 3k in income tax. on that money for yourself. You'll then obviously have the business that's going to pay corporation tax around 25%. The good thing is with a limited company is you can leave profits in there, and if they stay in there, you're not going to pay any more tax on what you've already paid on the corp tax. I've always been sold just because I wanted to get a mortgage and stuff before, and I always believed you had to kind of have that income, you know, in your bank at all times. But you know, they said to me yesterday, a good mortgage advisor will be able to look at, you know, the business, look at what you've taken, understand you're taking it for tax purposes, and then, you know, they'll be able to still allow and allocate you what you need. So I think, you know, at the end of the day, 50k a year is a base salary. You can live nice off that. Obviously, if you need more, you can take more. You just got to pay higher in tax. Obviously, in the UK, the brackets are pretty rough. And I think anywhere between 100 and 120, you're paying like 60% nearly, which is horrible. But yeah, definitely recommend it if you are sort of, you know, getting into this game, whether it's trading or whatever. People always ask me, do you have to pay profits on prop firms and that? I've made a video on that before, but it's pretty much income tax. You're essentially invoicing the prop firm for a service. You're basically a consultant, and they are paying that invoice. So you have to pay tax on it. It's not like you can swerve it or hide it. You know, rather than trying to avoid it, find a case of, you know, how can I be as tax efficient? You know, there's a lot of ways you can do it. And if you look at some of the biggest businesses in the world, they are very tax efficient. And a big part of growing your wealth is actually being sensible and logical when it comes to tax. Something I wasn't very clued up on, something I didn't really put too much time into, but something I've realised, you know, I need to. The more conversations I've had with people that, you know, run big businesses, are doing well for themselves, they all say, like, please just go limited, you'll save a lot of money. So, yeah, I'm going to check that out. So I'll let you know how the process of that goes. I'm just going to get into this trade. Oh no, it's just bounced back out. 1 second. One of the worst things when you're waiting for a trade and it's popped in and you're just like, nah, it's going to pull away from me. That is one of the worst feelings. Yeah, that'll do. Right. So we're in that now. Actually, we're just playing this. So if I zoom out quickly, obviously we've had this kind of liquidation over here. We've then printed this sort of Frankfurt, taken that out, now looking to see if we can get like a reversal, sort of target some of this liquidity. Obviously, once we get down here and start taking these levels out, you know, I'll be monitoring as to whether probably go BE or something, the dreaded BE, and then from there we'll see where we can go. A little bit bigger stop than I would have liked, but because I've got a couple of bits and bobs happening, I feel a bit all over. This morning's been so busy with different elements. I don't want to sit here and wait for it to come all the way back up or into this just for a smaller stop. Obviously, it may well do, and it may just do that. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'll keep you posted on this. I'm going to crack on with the rest of my day. So it's still in the trade at the minute, running just under an hour. So we'll see what happens there. Does it mean I'm a proper trader now? Because I'm like, woo! That's fucking cringe. Yeah, just because people show money doesn't mean shit. This is money that I just got out just for the sake of the video to feel funny and take the piss on Twitter. I'm not that kind of guy, and I would never be that kind of guy. And anyone that is that kind of guy that just wants to stunt on you and is arrogant like that, it's not worth following them, really. Whee! What's happening, people? How we doing? So, just got back from my walk, just seeing what EU's doing. Obviously, we had a really, really nice follow through here. So, I've entered here, and then I've entered on 1.5% on this. This is my C trader with Alpha Capital, the one I got last week. We're up like around about 1% and a bit. We were running nearly 4% on it. It was about 8 pips from my TP, and then we reversed. As I said, when all that went, I was expecting a reaction. This could now trickle up, take me out, and go again in New York. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, I can't, you know, make it do anything, but really liking C Trader. Obviously, I've got it on a copy with Traders Connect, which I said yesterday they do now have a copy in. So far, all is good. The only thing I'm experiencing is I'm getting an email saying trade not copied, but it is copied. But I spoke to them and they said that's getting patched by the end of the week. So by the time you're watching this, that should be sorted. Like I said last week, in terms of Alpha Capital, obviously big fan of them at the moment. I've got some MT5 accounts and I've also got C Trader. So definitely check them out. I'll leave a link in the description. Also, likely going to be doing a MacBook giveaway. Whether we do 1 or 2, I'm going to find out. But it seemed to be the most common kind of thing that was asked for. I feel like a MacBook could really change someone's life. So again, if you haven't yet made an account, there's a link in the description. I'm going to work out the logistics of it when I actually get the MacBooks and we go ahead with the giveaway, so keep posted on that. What's happening, people? I'm in the car. I'm on my way to get my hair cut. EU, in the end, break even again. So we ran about 2.4, 2.5 R, and then took me out. As I said earlier in the vlog, when it takes out those lows, it could take me out. Which pretty much did exactly that. Obviously, you know, it didn't quite hit the TP. It's all well and good in hindsight going, oh, you should have done this, you could have done this, but it's always shoulda, coulda, woulda. That's not what I'm doing, so we'll see. Will there be benefit? Will it not? we'll find out, and we'll go from there. And it'll be something that I'll log over the, you know, the course of the next quarter, and be like, right, is BE beneficial or not? Obviously in testing it is. It's just, again, in testing, you go past those BEs very quickly, right? So let's say today in testing you take a BE, you might then, in the same minutes that trade would have played out, you would have took a BE, but then you might have skipped a week and got to a win and been like, oh look, see, it's fine, it doesn't matter. Whereas in real life, you've got to wait a week, and when you're coming off of a bad month and you're having a hard time as it is, it can be a lot harder to have that kind of mindset to go, oh, that's all right, the next one. But that is literally what you've got to do in trading. It is just like a case of the next one, we go again. So I'll see what happens in New York. Obviously, haven't took an hour or anything today, so it means that I can just get back in again if it does set up or lets me in. I don't start trading until about 1:30, so I'll have my haircut at 1, be out by 1:30, you know, I'll be home in time, and then I've got a school run to do about 2:45. So we'll see what happens. I'll keep you updated if anything else develops. But yeah, as it stands, Feb is just looking like a month that, you know, unfortunately I didn't capitalise on some of the winners. Made a couple of mistakes and whatnot, and it's led to me having a drawdown month. Again, it's very normal. You know, some people have drawdown quarters, some people have drawdown years. I think the longer you spend in the game, it can happen. It's not ideal. We don't want it to happen, but it can. And sometimes you just got to deal with that and not let it get to you too much. Obviously, again, I get that's easier said than done, but you know, as you grow, as you develop, you do get used to it a bit more. So I get a trim, microphone head again. It's been 2 weeks already. Let's go. Morning people, how are we doing? It's Wednesday. Currently just sat at the charts watching EU, and I was just logging yesterday's trade, and I'd said if we take this out we might see a reaction, and obviously we stacked more liquidity for later. It then came back, BE'd me, and then continued to run. Now what I did do, I actually left it open on funding pips. Funding pips is like 2% away from passing, which is nice. Managed to sort of pull around 3% off that yesterday, and this was already up because this got taken away from me when obviously I wasn't on a losing streak as such. So in that respect, it's all good. Obviously you can see here Alpha Capital, I got taken out up here, so I sold it yesterday twice. It's been a tough Feb, obviously 1 more day left, so it's not completely gone, but it's been a tough February. It's definitely challenged me and it's definitely tested me, but I feel really good. And obviously this is a drawdown month for me at the moment. Still around like 5% down across some accounts. Obviously some accounts I'm up, some accounts are not as down as much. It varies depending on the account, the time started, the risk, etc, etc. And this is a tough patch for me. Like, I've been in drawdown the whole month basically. I've missed out on such good opportunity. Like, I should have a 10% month. Like, no cap, this February should be a 10% month for me, and I'm down. And I'm like, fuck man, like what's going on? And that, you can't really account for that, you know, it happens. Some of it's performance related, some of it's live related, it just happens. And that's why, like, if you solely relied on it, how are you going to pay bills at the end of the month? You can't message your bank and go, oh listen, look, I've had a tough month, I'm in drawdown, is that cool? They're going to be like, no, we need to come and repossess your house or your car or whatever it is. So just make sure you're not getting like misguided in this game, and you're not getting thrown a bone where, you know, yes, you can make a lot of money. Yes, these prop firms are changing the game. But at the same time, you have to have your shit together. You have to know what you're doing. Because it's all well and good passing phase 1, phase 2. Maybe you get a 20, 30k payout. It's all well and good, right? But if you fluked it, or if you've just done it off a whim, and then the next few months are in drawdown, you don't know how to deal with it or manage it, or your emotions or whatever it might be, you might never get out of it again. You might never make that 30k again. And 30k, you know, in this day and age in the UK is not a lot. Just bear that in mind. Like, it's about being able to do it consistently. So you do need an edge. You do need a way to extract from the market, but you do need other sources of income. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You know, all entrepreneurs, all business owners, you know, it's very rare one of them have just got one thing. It's like when one thing's slow, the other thing's good. And when the other thing's slow, the other thing's good. And things kind of, when they're good together, they're good together. Like, and you know, having multiple sources, you know, you've got that cliche saying 7 income streams for every millionaire. I don't think you need 7. I do think you need to try and hone in on a couple of things, because you can get saturated a little bit. But I think what I'm trying to get at is, like, I'm trying to share with you, this is a deep drawdown, this is a tough period for me, and it's like, I miss that bag, but I know that bag's coming back, but I've just got to be locked in and focused and not put a time on it, and I've just got to be process focused and not outcome driven. And that's where, if you've only got this as your bag, or you want to get out your job and you hate your job, sometimes you can put so much pressure on trading and put it on such a pedestal but it actually does you a disservice. What's going on, people? How are we doing? It's Wednesday. Literally just got back from a walk. It's absolutely soaking out there today, but I said I've got to get my steps in regardless, so let's go and get them done. Put a coat on and man it. I've had a really busy morning, had a lot of meetings, and I've got a couple this afternoon, so I just wanted to pick this up, make sure I do vlog for the day. So this morning I took a short on EU. You can see it up here. Got in up here based on, I'll go on trading view in a minute so you can see, but I just wanted to show the execution. So I got in around here, and then it took me out, and now it is running. A little bit annoying, not gonna lie. You know, at the start of the week I was looking for shorts, not really been committing, to be honest. If I'm being completely honest with EU at the minute, it is just sort of playing games. 15 minutes set up, and basically took this high, sorry, this sweep. So I had this sweep over here, I dropped to the 5 minute after that sweep, basically got in around here. Just got unlucky. I think I had a 6 pip, if I remember correct. So yeah, there. Very easy to have said in the moment, oh, I'll have 9 pip, you know, I'll have bollocks, you know, if I'm putting it a pip above the high, 6 pips was more than enough. Got a little bit unlucky. Could I have re-entered? Not really, it was out of my session slightly. But yeah, a little bit of an unfortunate one overall. It is what it is, like I'm not gonna dwell on it. Little bit tough again this week, ending Feb. You know, I am ending Feb in drawdown. There's no two ways about that. Funding pips is the closest one at the moment to being passed. So we'll see if we can get that over the line. Obviously, we've got this afternoon, we've got tomorrow. Be nice to get it done, get phase 2 ready for next week. A few accounts are in drawdown. Alpha Capital is in a little bit of profit on the C-Trader account. So we'll go from there. So far this week, testing Traders Connect has been all good. Not really had any issues with copy trading from MT5 to C-Trader, so that's nice. So yeah, things are looking really good. I think the industry at the moment is, as a whole, is looking sick. And I still believe like props are, you know, I'm pro prop like I said before. So if you haven't already, check out the link in the description for Alpha Capital. They're going to release their March promo, I would imagine, tomorrow. So I'll make sure I've linked that in. Bearing in mind I'm recording this previous time to you watching it. So I'll link that in. Like I said, link in the description, go and check it out. And I'm going to sort out what I'm going to do about this MacBook giveaway. Woke up this morning, bit of a rough belly, not my usual belly pain. I'm just not gonna lie, my ass has been like a jet wash. It's just not happy. I don't know if I've eaten something yesterday that's not agreed with me. I haven't really had anything different apart from I had a few squashies. I say a few, I basically had a bag of squashies, so they probably didn't do me any favors. My body's like, yo, what are you putting this in here for? So just gonna stay on water and have like bland food today and see if that sorts that out. And then other than that, I will crack on with the rest of the day. I'm going to try this afternoon to just go through February, just review it so it's done rather than doing it on the weekend. So I've got a busy weekend. I want to make sure I've done it. Obviously, logging my trades still on MTJ. I've been chatting to those guys over there, and they have said that they are really looking to implement like the forecasting side of things, potentially a better way to review your trades. I think they're bringing out like a leaderboard as well, or a track record or something, which is interesting. Not that I overly need that. Obviously, I've got Darwin X, but again, if you're using that platform and you want another way to have a track record, I guess that's good. So yeah, I'll leave a link below. You can check those guys out. Like I said, I've got a 20-day free trial. Check it out. If you're getting any problems as well, just let them know. They're a new firm. I've had a few issues. I've let them know what's up. I'm trialing them out. I'm seeing how they are. I think they've got great potential. So whether they can just pull it off and then jump on this call and see what New York says. So I'll pick this up in a little bit. Bit of a quiet one this week. Not going to lie, nothing crazy exciting happening. And that's sometimes as well how it goes. You know, some weeks aren't crazy or bananas. This is, again, we're not popping bottles in the club, driving around Lambos and visiting big villas all the time. You know, we're just working, grafting, getting our head down. Morning, people. How we doing? It's Friday. I'm trying to keep some food down, dry toast, and I'm now trying to have a squares bar and a coffee. Probably not a good idea, not gonna lie. Probably gonna make me go to the toilet. Good thing is, I'm very grateful. There's a toilet right behind me, so I'm good. If you can hear Steph singing, apologies, because it's pretty awful, but she's singing to herself downstairs. So yeah, just jumped on the charts. Obviously, end of Feb. Feb's gone. Feb was probably one of the worst months for me in a while. Not because of the price action or anything, just because I made a couple of poor decisions. Trades were just mugging me off, and ultimately that's the life of a trader. Do you know what I mean? That's what happens. As you guys and girls know, I've always been transparent in terms of losers. You know, I don't share just wins. I don't just share the good stuff. I share the real shit, the bad stuff as well. And not that loss is a bad thing, but people see it that way. I don't see it as a bad thing, but whatever. And I put it up, and it was just fascinating how still to this day so many people are trying to correct you in why I shouldn't have got in there. Why would you expect that to work? They can find all these reasons as to why. And what I'm trying to highlight here, because I don't care about people saying stuff, say what you want in it. It's more the fact of you're doing yourself a disservice if you're still in this mindset of I am a bank or an algorithm, or there's no way to lose, or the central bank dealing algorithm does this and does that. Know how to understand that and see it every day. They still lose. So then what's wrong? The central bank dealing algorithm had a blip? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's not that deep. And what I'm saying is, I've been there before where I believed you could truly find the why behind every loss. And you can always, in hindsight, make up a reason why. But in the moment, with the information you were dealt with, you took a risk, you played probabilities, you played your edge, and it didn't work. And that's just it. It just didn't work. It doesn't mean the edge is broken. And this is where you can go into a cycle of like changing your edge all the time, or, you know, not taking that trade next time and it working, or whatever it might be. And you can start implementing some bullshit because you believe you understand the why. And I promise you, you don't need to understand the why, and you don't need perfection in trading to make money. You just need to have an edge that works, a decent risk reward, or a decent win rate. Two very different things. If your risk reward is a 1 to 3, for example, you don't need an 80% win rate. It'd be nice, and if you can get it, sick, but you don't need it. If your risk reward is 0.5%, you need an 80-85% win rate in order to make money, and potentially you have to inflate your risk, especially for prop challenges, right? Two different things. But as long as you have that, you have yourself in check, your psyche in check, you execute flawlessly, and you don't let stupid things get in your way, you're patient, you're disciplined, you're focused, you don't miss trades, over the long run, you'll make money. That is the recipe for it. All this understanding why every single candle did what it did is just a way for people to market things, to sell you stuff, to make you feel inadequate. Because naturally, when someone says, I could have avoided that loss, here's why. Well, I could tell you why I avoided that loss in real life, in hindsight. But the reality was I took it in real life, and I'd take it again tomorrow, and I'd take it again this afternoon. Always journal your trades. It's why I say, no matter what, journal. Whether you're using automated software, or whether you're using your own Notion, or whether you're using your own Google Sheet or Excel, or however you journal, whatever you do, make sure you journal right, make sure you journal correct, make sure you're not lying to yourself. And over a course of a quarter, perhaps, you can look at how you've performed, and you can say, okay, if every loss has the exact same thing in common, because I'm only giving it a pip above the high, but if I'd actually given it 5 pips above the high, every loss would have won, or 50% of losses would have won. That's when you go, okay, maybe that's something I'm going to implement. But when you go, I took an L, right, I'm going to base it on the last 2 trades. Oh yeah, look, both of them had that in common. You're just literally going, well, all the other data I've got doesn't mean anything. Markets have cycles. Things change. Things adapt. Some months are slow. Some months aren't. And that's why anyone telling you they're always winning and they don't lose, they're just full of shit. Do you know what I mean? And we need to eradicate that from the space, and we need to be more like, look, this is the reality of it. Do you know what I mean? This is it. What is going on, people? How are we doing? So I just passed funding pips. Well, I say just. I passed around 2 hours ago. I just got the email through, which I'll pop up. So yeah, happy days there. It worked out quite well with funding pips. Obviously, I was in profit with them from January. I was already up about 2%, which I remember showing in last week's vlog. And then obviously this afternoon, I caught a trade on GU. I'd been stalking GU and EU. EU didn't quite sweep. At the same time, we had that kind of correlation I've spoken about before, where one's kind of swept, the other hasn't. So I went on to GU, I saw this had swept. I basically just dropped down to the 5 minute, and I'm not going to lie, I just clipped it when it came back into here. So I clipped it here, and I basically had a 10 pip stop. So I clipped it there, got in. I only needed it to run, like to here, because I was already up, I think 6% or just under this morning. So yeah, I got there, got out, happy days, job done. It's still a setup that fits my system, slightly different pair, but a pair I've been watching for a while. And also the same as gold, I've been watching for a while, and I'm monitoring that. So I am just giving myself options, because again, you know, bias is right, and you know, EU didn't let me in. It would have just been a case of I didn't get in the trade again, and then it sweeps too late out of session. So yeah, got in that, happy days. Like I said, we're going to phase 2, probably have that by Monday, I think, and then we'll get that set up. Alpha's up about 1% on CTrader, and then all my other accounts are about 4% in drawdown. So still got some work to do on some of those. They've obviously incurred the loss streak that I've been on and whatnot. Like I said, it's been a tough February. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to beat around the bush. But at the same time, nice start to March. I did say to myself back in December, and I think I mentioned on the vlog, if I can get all the funding done by end of March, we'll have 1 million in funding by then. That'd be me happy, job done. It'll just be about locking in the payouts, getting consistent payouts. And like I say, when I say being more aggressive on challenges, it doesn't mean doing something stupid. It just means maybe increasing risk to 1.5, 2%, especially if you're in profit, because you've got the kind of room for it. If you're in drawdown, it's not always a good idea to over risk, unless you're on a loss streak and you've got data that backs up that loss streak. As always, I appreciate all of you for watching. If you haven't subscribed, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button, click the bell so you can get notified. We upload every Sunday at 9 AM, have been for 2.5 years now. And without further ado, I will catch you all next week. Smash your day, smash your weekend. Let's get it. Peace and love, gang.